everyone. Welcome back to Around the Table, where we dive into real, unfiltered conversations about all aspects of life. These discussions are honest, transformative, and designed to inspire. We're so excited to have you with us. All right, you guys, last time we met each other. We all know each other, but we introduced ourselves to the audience, got to know us a little bit better. And today, I wanted us to talk about, how did we get here? How did we get to Around the Table? What has God done on each of our hearts to bring us to this place today? So I want to start with Robin. This is Robin Davis, our good friend. And Robin, I know that this has been on your heart for a long time. And even the title, the phrase Around the Table, holds really important meaning for you. So I'd love for you to tell us that story and how we got here.
Okay. Around the Table is obviously not unique. It's very common. But the Lord spoke to me in 2020, the last day of 2020, actually. And he said, I want you to gather the generations. I want you to gather the younger and the older to do a beautiful exchange of not only wisdom, but to learn from one another. And so it really started with Around the Table, a gathering of women, setting a beautiful table for food and flowers and just beauty. And then it kind of morphed into conversation amongst us and other things too that we're all creating. But it really started in 2020 just to develop relationship amongst the young and the old.
So good. So beautiful. I love that. So Joanne, how did you get to the table? What was your process and what has God put on your heart to do something like this?
Well, I mean, again, it's been a long time coming because we've, Jeff and I even had a conversation years ago about starting a podcast. We said, we get together, we have these amazing deep conversations and say, this should be a podcast. Other people need to hear this. So I think it's been like a thing in my heart for a long time. We talked about it. And then it just kind of morphed into, wow, Lord, this isn't the right time. So laying those things down as we do. Sometimes you just have to wait for his timing. And then the next thing I knew, I met Robin. And Robin was like, I have this dream for a show for us to get, us around a table, and I want you at the table. And so really it was Robin's invitation to have a seat here and to do this with her and Heather and you, and just to bring our hearts, our conversations, our friendship to a table where we can just talk about all the things that matter, because there's so much we don't get to talk about, and there's so much we talk about that others don't get to hear. So it's kind of inviting people into those conversations we have, because they're talking about the things that we believe matter most in women's lives and seasons of life and all of the aspects of friendship. So just really honored to be at the table with you guys.
Yeah, that is awesome. So how about you, Heather? How did you get to the table?
Well, I think for me, the dream really started back in about 2015. And I was actually down here in Southern California. I am not from Southern California. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, actually, and then my husband and I got married, and we moved to Northern California. So I've just been in this area for 4 years. And I was dreaming up there in Northern California, and then came down here to a meeting that we were doing, and this guy gave me a word. And he said, I just feel like God has a show that you're going to be a part of with your friends.
Wow.
It was very clear.
I haven't heard this.
Yes.
I haven't heard this.
Yes, very
What
clear.
the heck?
And so I thought, okay, well, and I feel like, the key to breakthrough is follow through always.
Wow.
And so I went home and I started talking to my husband about it and started a process, actually created a Facebook group, started doing things online with women. And I talked to some friends and they were like, I don't know, that seems a little intimidating. I'm not sure if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I have a word from the Lord. How is this not, but like you said, Joanne, it goes back to timing. And I think that's one of the biggest things for all of us is sometimes we have a dream, we have something in our heart, and we try to, push it forward, and it's not the right time. And so then it falls flat to the ground, and it's like, why is this not working?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there is an alignment with people, place, and purpose.
Yes.
So when we come into alignment and all those things align,
Yes.
the kingdom of heaven can advance that way.
Right.
So I just kind of put it on the side. And then, a couple years ago, I met Robin. We connected our hearts like immediately. It was like a kindred spirit connection. And then we started gathering like
Young
the
women,
generations,
yes.
like older women and younger women, and set beautiful table and just started kind of dreaming even back then.
Yeah.
And then you're like, we need to do this. It's just time. And so will you be a part of the table? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think that for me was like, this is a dream fulfilled.
That's amazing.
This is a dream that has been on God's heart for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's the right people. It's the right place.
Yes.
And purpose is going to be here for all
I
of us.
think each one of us too at a certain point in time, like we all have sort of tried to go on that little journey with somebody else, and it just has fallen flat to the ground.
Yeah.
Like I even went as far as a photo shoot,
Yeah.
the logo, the whole thing.
been there.
And just kind of like didn't work. It didn't happen. And so I agree with you, Heather, in that there's times and seasons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when those times and seasons arrive, you just know, and you're ready to go and plow.
Absolutely.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm actually just sort of stunned and marveling that we are the fulfillment of a word that the Lord
Right.
gave Heather.
Yes.
2015.
Yes.
2015.
That's incredible.
10 years ago.
And
Yes.
to me, that speaks so much of how the Lord weaves things together. Because, I mean, it was at least 2020, probably before then, that you and I, Joanne and I used to get together and we'd say, let's write, because we're both writers. So we'd be, let's write together. And of course, what do we end up doing the whole time? Chit-chatting. And so we'd have these amazing conversations. And inside my heart, I was like, these people need to be part of this conversation. Like, I'm learning from my friend. She's learning from me. I need this recorded.
Yes.
And so to think that even at that time, the Lord was giving it to you and giving it to you.
Right.
I literally have chills right now, like that we're now here at the table.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like back in 2015, like YouTubing and podcasting and all of that was just kind of starting. It wasn't something that I was thinking of at all back then.
Yeah.
And so when I was dreaming about creating spaces and doing all of that with friends, but I wasn't thinking about, let's do a podcast show. Like,
The
I had
conversation.
no grid. Like, it just wasn't even in my mind. And so then when he said that, I was a little like, you mean a show? Like, talk to people in front of a camera and engage in conversation? And I was like, no, thank you. Like, it's okay. But I did. I always I value the word of the Lord so much that I put it on my heart, and I'm like, okay, Lord, how can I work with this? How can we partner together to see this work happen? And then it was just like, not the right time, not the right time. But now it is, and so we're excited. And
So good.
Good.
So I just want to add one really quick thing. And it, whenever we give the Lord our yes, there's always an obstacle of, we could get caught in this space of, well, there's millions of people doing this. Why do you need to do that? And sometimes you just have to go with the dream. You have to go with the call. You have to go with the unction, whatever that looks like. And for Heather, it's the word. Like, yay, we get to be a fulfillment of the word. But just that the Lord is beckoning us to step into a place of conversation that people need to be a part of.
Right.
And so whoever that touches, we're glad you're here.
So good.
Well, and hopefully it'll inspire, those who are able to listen to our conversations that we feel, drawn to have, we feel led to have together in this format, that they'll be inspired to, step into things and to be doing the work of relationships and what does that look like, and how do I build the friendship, the community, like living life to the fullest, living life fully alive, living life on purpose and mission. And that's what we're all about. We know we have our God assignments. We have these things in our hearts that are incredible dreams that are coming to life now. And we want that for everybody who gets to hear us. We want to inspire them to, live that life and not just live without feeling like I'm living for something that's bigger than me, but I'm living with the intent of leaving a legacy, and I know that's really important to all of us, especially in the season of our adulting children and, married children. And for me, grandbabies, it's just, there's things that just start to cultivate in our hearts as we are in the season that we're in.
Yes. I love that. Yes. And I love that we all bring different things to the table. We bring the same heart and the same passion and the same purpose, but, Heather, you've been a long time in ministry, pastor's wife, pastoring yourself. You've done so much in the world of beauty, and you've traveled and all the things. Joanne, you've been in ministry. You've owned businesses. Robin, you're a boss babe. And I've been in education. And so there's all these different things, and we all have different giftings that we're bringing. And I love that because, and really, I think we said this in the first episode, but it's really our friendships spilling out to everybody else, right? We're coming at this conversationally, relationally, and all that. So let me ask you guys, what are some topics that what can people look forward to that we're going to actually dive into?
I think one of them for me is like dreaming. Like how do we get to this place, right? Like how do we actually the action steps needed to be able to see the dreams of our heart fulfilled? Yeah. Like, I think that's one big thing that I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
I love that. I think for me, I'm such a, like you said, when you were talking about me, I'm a connector, and so connection, community, relationships matter so deeply to me. And so I think I'm excited to talk about all the things, related to relationships and how do we have healthy relationships? How do we foster community that is actually life-giving? Who are the people we allow into our relational kingdom, and what does that look like? And we'll talk more about that because it's a new phrase, of like, what does that mean to have emotional intelligence in our friendships and resilience? So I'm excited because I think it was interesting to me when I was having conversations with women in business not too long ago, like this at this meeting with a group of ladies, and they were all, amazing business leaders, have their own companies, founders, CEOs. But the one thing when we talked about friendship is they said, I've never had good friendships. I don't think I've ever had a friend group that I could say I really felt connected to. And I thought, are you kidding? I've been so blessed with rich, deep friendships throughout my life, but I know that's a core value for me. And so it's something that I fostered. And so I'm excited to have those conversations because there's things that sometimes we just miss because we're just busy doing life, but the connection and the relationships matter so much. And it's part of us getting to where we're supposed to go. We can't do this journey alone, and we were never created to do it alone. So getting to have those conversations and how to help others do that well is something I'm excited about.
I love that. Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Miss Robin? You have a lot to talk about, girl.
I think there's. I love the relational aspect. I think that women are called to be friends. My husband's always said, you're a friend to women, and I love the generational part of that. I love being friends with younger women and older women. I think it's such a beautiful exchange, but I also believe that there's a lot of people that have been hit with disappointment in friendships. And I think that's a topic that is something that can possibly bring freedom to some of the people listening. And that, there's this moment in time when you're disappointed. I'll just touch on it for a moment, when the Lord just says, are you going to risk again?
That's so good.
I'm sitting at a table with women where, you just go in and you risk again. And so I think that's a really important topic. I think it's not something that should be avoided in not only in the body of Christ, but, within the culture itself, because people need to be set free from disappointment.
Absolutely. So good.
Another topic that I just think is really powerful is just setting beautiful spaces for women. I think there's a lot of people that don't really know and understand how to do that. And so I can't wait to dive into that subject and not being afraid of it, so something light, something airy. But we are going to go into some places that are going to be a little uncomfortable. And that's okay, because I think we need to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the practical aspect of it too is so important because people can, live in the nebulous zone up here, but it's like, okay, actually, let's bring it down to you. Let's make it personal to you. Like, how does this affect you?
Right.
Because when it affects us, it actually brings transformation to other people around us. Right. But we have to deal with us first. And I think that's one of the biggest things for all of us. It's like, okay, no, we're willing to dive in. We want to have these real conversations. We want to, dive into the deep end. So that's what you're getting when you're getting us around the table.
Yes.
We're going to dive into the deep end and we're going to go there and we're going to have those conversations and we're going to talk about, no topic is not on the table. Like, we're going for it. So I love that. Yeah.
We could talk.
What was that?
We could talk politics, Jen.
We can talk politics.
All the things.
I love what I love. One of the things I love about every woman at this table is how real and raw each one of us is and how we can be. And I think that's what the audience can count on. We're gonna be real.
Yeah.
We're gonna be raw. We're gonna go there. There's no topic that's off the table.
Right.
And some of the things I'm excited about are just, and we mentioned this in the first episode, but all of us have been married a long time.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. We all have amazing husbands. So we're going to dive into those things, and also just our identity, who we are, our value, what we're believing. There's going to be some good topics, you guys.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time.
And I know one of the ones that you're passionate about, and I think we all are, but I know you've mentioned it, is beliefs. And just like our beliefs are so important to be aware of, how we're believing, what we're believing for ourselves, for our circumstance, for our situations, for our children, our families.
Absolutely.
For the dreams God's put in our heart, but our beliefs can really be off.
Yes.
And so what do we do to get our beliefs aligned with God? What do we do to get our beliefs aligned with kingdom thinking?
Right.
What do we do to get our beliefs upgraded? How do we do that? Because that really affects everything we do.
It does.
It really affects how we live our lives and how we view our world.
Right.
And so that's incredibly important, and I love that topic. It's
Our beliefs and our words.
Yes.
Our words are the declaration of what we want to become or what we will become. And so it's beliefs and words. Like what we speak it goes into the atmosphere. And so,
So exciting.
I know.
We're
We're
going to
excited.
have so much fun.
We are.
Yeah. So I think what we've decided too is what you can count on from this show is we're going to be intentional. We're going to be honest. And we're hoping the show will be transformative.
Yes.
So those are our goals, and we're so excited for you guys to come along with us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait for the next topic. I'm so excited.
too.
So for our next episode, we are going to dive deeper into our core values.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about intentionality, honesty, and transformation. Let's go.
Yes.
So we want to thank all of you for joining us today on Around the Table. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so be sure to drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. You can also connect with us on Instagram at aroundthetable_US to stay updated on our upcoming 6-week mentorship opportunity and our summer gathering. Come on, it's going to be fun. Can't wait to connect with you. Thanks for being with us. See you next time.
Bye.